Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome. It's your man, God of Dots. Back again. Hope everybody had a good day. Oh, I know I did. Brother just had a very chill, relaxed day. Very good Tuesday. Got some stuff done. In the workplace, got some stuff done at home. But hey, we're not here to talk about my day. Like I said, hope your day was going well. And we're gonna conclude it out here with a little NFL talk. Yesterday, we kind of kicked it off with the NFL team previews. Mainly started out with the Carolina Panthers. NFC South is the focus for this week. Next week, I don't know. Leave a comment. Remember to always like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. All right, today's team is the Atlanta Falcons. Like I was stating yesterday, if you watched the show, caught it on the replay, the NFC South is full of intrigue because I can make a case for each one of these teams to walk away with a division crown. They're not in the upper tier of teams I would pick to win the Super Bowl, but hey, um, it's the preseason. Everybody, how you doing, James? Appreciate that. Everybody has a chance to win the Super Bowl in the preseason. Everybody's got hope. I'm not here to crush that hope. I'm just here to talk about and break down each of these teams as I kind of look at them, so forth, so forth, so forth, so forth. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons. Much change to some of the personnel. We're going to talk about some of the personnel decisions that they made. Some of them can be kind of hit or they could be kind of miss. If we're going to start talking about any NFL team, you got to start at the most important position on the field. You got to talk about quarterback. Going into the new season, Atlanta is rolling out with second year quarterback Desmond Ritter penciled in. And I say penciled, and I'm going to tell you why I say penciled. Penciled in as the starter. Um, penciled in as the starter. Um, his last four starts, he did get a little burn last year due to Marcus Mariota playing as poorly as he played. The team was competitive record wise. It wasn't a winning record, 7-10 last year. But Desmond Ritter has the potential to be in the mold. I'm not saying on a talent level he's not in the same ballpark as Lamar Jackson, but who is? But the way the team is kind of set up, the way the offense was kind of set up last year, reminds me heavily of how Baltimore was bringing along Lamar Jackson in the first early going. And I think Desmond Ritter fits the mold, more of a scrambler type guy that works outside of the box, not necessarily great at a pocket passer right now, but hey, he's a second year quarterback. What are you expecting him coming to the league with that skill set? Still developing it. But Atlanta was one of the better running teams last year. If you didn't watch the Falcons, and trust me, a lot of people didn't watch the Falcons because it wasn't a very good team to watch. They were able to be one of the best running teams overall in the NFL, and that kind of kept them in a lot of games. Also, allowed the defense to be perceived better than they were. Atlanta didn't have one of the better defenses, but when you have a team that can run the ball as well as Atlanta was running the ball last year and look to even run the ball even better this year, with another year under that system. Also, with the eighth overall pick, they brought in Bijan Robinson. I'm going to talk about him in just a second. But back to Desmond Ritter, like I said, hit or miss. And when I said penciled in, I mean penciled in. If you're not aware, Tyler Heineke, backup, sometimes starter quarterback from the Washington Commanders, was brought in as a free agent. Got a nice size contract on top of that to come in. I'm not sure how long the rope is going to be with Desmond Ritter. Like I said, we got a small sample size last year. I'm expecting him to show some improvement, but hey, he wasn't a highly touted excuse me, quarterback coming into the league. Heineke is there, and this kind of brings me back to the point I was making yesterday when I was talking about the Carolina Panthers. Um, yes, Bryce Young was the number one overall pick. You would think he would go into the season as a starter, but they did bring in Andy Dalton because you don't want to get into this division is up for grabs. It's no Tampa Bay is not the big bad monster anymore with Tom Brady retiring. We'll talk about Tampa Bay later on this week, but How you doing, Dr. Nikki? Yeah, this little me and my corporate space over here, keeping it clean and all that good stuff. But you know, Atlanta did some of the same personnel moves as far as quarterback that the Carolina Panthers did. If you missed yesterday's show, go check it out. Go check it out. Trust me. It was short, it was sweet. I'll be in and out. Trust me, I'm not here all day long. But I don't know if Desmond Ritter makes it through the whole season. If he plays poorly, um, I'm glad Tom Brady is gone. Trust me, the whole division, damn near the whole league is glad that Tom Brady's gone. We'll talk about Tampa Bay later on this week because they're gonna have their own spotlight. Spotlight this week is all NFC South. But back to the Falcons. Let's focus in on the Falcons. I do like Bijan Robinson, the running back that they drafted in the first round this year. I do like his talent. He reminds me a lot of a Saquon Barkley type, a guy who can be a dual threat, can really make the offense a lot more explosive. The only issue that I have, the only issue that I have with them drafting Bijan Robinson is where you drafted him at. I don't think he was talent wise, and you can't with the NFL. You can't. Uh, the position of running back. And we might talk about that a lot more on Friday's show. I'm thinking about putting together, my NFC wrap up, but I want to really dive into a lot of the news that's been coming out about, NFL running backs. It seems to be a movement going on, but back to the Falcons. Bijan Robinson, I like him as a player. I think he was one of the better players in the draft. I don't know. I would have drafted him 8th overall. This team has a lot of deficiencies. I was thinking the Falcons would have probably went for more of a pass rush help, and we'll kind of get into the defense in just a second. But I like Bijan Robinson. I like the fact that you still have Cordell Patterson back there. More of a outside the numbers running back who still has receiver skills. People forget that Cordell Patterson did start his NFL career as kick returner, wide receiver, still has those skill sets. Has been a very decent runner. I'm not going to say Cordell Patterson is going to blow the doors off as far as running back, but I like what they have in the backfield. I do like the tight end. Kyle Pitts didn't have a very good year last year, but hey, when you have Marcus Mariota, the offense wasn't really designed to really kind of get him the ball. It wasn't a very good passing offense last year. So I don't think you saw the best of Kyle Pitts last year. And when we're talking about receiving, got to look on the outside also. Drake London, the wide receiver they drafted in the first round last year, showed flashes, looked okay. But then again, like I said, this team wasn't a throwing team, more of a run heavy team. Marcus Mariota was your quarterback for the majority of last year. That's the reason why he's gone. Left much to be desired. So, what does the offense look like going? I forgot to do this yesterday because I wanted to, at least try to get in my bag just a little bit. Okay, what does the offense look like? Prospects this year, I think the offense is going to be a lot better. I think Desmond Ritter is going to play well enough to kind of keep his job. But if not, Tyler Heineke can come in and add a different flavor to the offense. He's more of a passer, not necessarily the strongest of arms, but he's not going to turn the ball over a whole lot. Can get the ball to your playmakers. Does what traditional backup quarterbacks do. Don't come in, don't mess up, get the ball to the playmakers, take the stress off of you. But I think Desmond Ritter makes it through the whole season. And Atlanta, if they're able to run the ball effectively like they did last year, and it'll help mask the defense. When we're talking about the defense, it's a whole lot of young talent on that side of the ball, not necessarily proven talent on that side of the ball. When you start looking at the Atlanta Falcons, it kind of starts up front. You have young pass rushers on the outside. You do have Grady Jarrett, who had a pretty good year at DT, but it wasn't nothing to really write home about. Like I said, they have talent On the defensive line, they did bring in Calais Campbell, um, Bud Dupree, Daniel Anyamata. I think the defensive line will be a whole lot better holding up against the run because this defense, when they did get out on the field, teams were running left, teams were running right, teams will be able to pass the ball all over the field on them. Eh, luckily for them, they didn't have to be on the field that long because the offense was able to, control the clock. But if you're expecting the offense to be better, you're expecting the defense to play a whole lot better. Like I said, they have young talent, have talent along the defensive line, talent along the front seven. You got Troy Anderson, middle linebacker, very athletic, not very good in the run game, but more of a coverage linebacker. I like the pieces that they have on the back end. I like the secondary. I like AJ Terrell. He had a very up and down year. They do have pieces on the defense. I think defense is going to be one of the things that kind of holds them back from really taking control of this division being up in the air for the first time in a number of years. I do like the fact that they added Jesse Bates, star safety, coming over from Cincinnati. I do like the fact that you were able to kind of get him in free agency, a veteran, another guy who is been in winning situations. They were able to get a couple former first round picks at cornerback. Yeah, Jeff Okuda had Mike Hughes. Was able to bring in Trey Flowers. I remember Trey Flowers from his time in Baltimore. You have pieces. You have pieces. You have pieces on the defensive side of the ball. But if they're not able to get after the quarterback, and this is one of the teams that was, at towards the bottom of the league as far as pass rush is concerned. If I'm not mistaken, 26 against pass rush, 29th in run defense. Weren't able to really put pressure on teams, get into that backfield a whole lot, and they left a lot to be desired. Not that the offense played horrible last year, but when you got guys that can't get after the quarterback, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. But I expect some of those young players to hopefully play better. But once again, we're talking about young NFL players. Some guys can come into the league with a lot of hype. You wait for them to develop, and they may not be able to develop in Atlanta's scheme. But I think Atlanta has a fighting chance. Excuse me. Has a fighting chance to possibly win the division. Like I said, the division is up in the air. Who is going to seize the crown? If I had to put a little money on it, if I had to do my traditional picks, and y'all know how I am with my picks, I think Atlanta, one of probably between Atlanta and I would say Atlanta and the Saints were probably the safer bets to possibly win this division. I'm not picking Atlanta to even if they win a division, Atlanta doesn't give me much confidence to go deep into the playoffs. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons improve. Like I said, they was 7-10 last year. A lot of those games they were kind of in due to the running game. I think Desmond Ridder will be a lot better. I think Bijan Robinson adds a dimension, extra dimension to this offense. I expect Kyle Pitts to have better production. I expect the wide receiver core to be better. I think the offense will be a whole lot better. The questions that I have with the Atlanta Falcons are all on the defensive side of the ball. Outside of Grady Jarrett, outside of Terrell, outside of Bates, you got the older guys. Calais Campbell is proven in the run game coming over from Baltimore. Bud Dupree is somewhat proven from his time with the Steelers and the Titans. I think the defensive line will be a whole lot better as far as run defense. Question is, can they have a pass rush? I know they do have Arnold Ebiketie on the outside, have Lorenzo Carter playing the pass rush role in this defense. Can they get after the quarterback? And traditionally, Atlanta has not had one of the better defensive units as far as pass rush and run defense, especially over the last 4 to 5 years. It's left a lot to be desired. I don't know what the formula is. Hopefully, for the Atlanta Falcons and your fans out there, your defense will look a whole lot better. I think that's going to be the biggest question mark I have with the Falcons is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. Outside of, can Desmond Ritter um, show progression? Like I said, he played. I want to say four. He had 4 starts at the end of the season. Looked okay. He looked kind of lost at times. It's expected from a rookie quarterback. Like I said, he's not in the mold of a traditional pocket passer. I do like some of the physical gifts that he brings to Atlanta. Hopefully, the coaching staff is able to really hone in and build the offense around those particular gifts. I hope they spend a whole lot of time during the offseason. I hope they spend a whole lot of time with training camp. If you're not aware, training camp has started for rookies. Um, they reported yesterday for most, some reported today. All camps pretty much open next week on the 25th. Like I said, I hope Desmond Ritter has really put in the time, because Atlanta has shown with you the offseason moves. I think Tyler Heineke was a very underrated move for them. Tyler Heineke is a winner. He is a winning quarterback, not a guy that's going to light up the stat sheet, but you can play winning football with Tyler Heineke. I was surprised that Washington was going to let him go. Um, I'm not sure what Washington's going to be doing at quarterback. We'll talk about that when we get to the Commanders. I be wanting to say Redskins. I'm sorry, I'm old school. But yeah, we'll talk about that. But I like Tyler Heineke bringing him in, a guy that you can kind of put him in a pinch if Ritter gets off to a rough start. I think if Ritter gets off to a very rough start, I don't know if he lasts 6 games. Not that Atlanta is in a win now mode, but this division, that's the complicated thing with this division. You can't have too much patience in saying we're going to bring along these young quarterbacks. Like I talked about yesterday with Carolina, you can't have too much patience because the division is up for the air. Carolina, probably the best defense in this division. Atlanta, clearly for me, the best run game in this division. Um, I will talk about the Saints a little bit later in the week. Possibly the most experienced offense as far as players at key positions in this division, and Tampa Bay has the championship pedigree. Yes, Tom Brady is gone. We'll talk about the quarterback position when we talk about the Bucks, but they still have championship pedigree on both sides of the ball. But we'll dive into that. But like I said, the Falcons, I'm hopeful, just like any other fan, that they improve, they get a little bit better. Like I said, this division is up for that, up for the taking. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. They've done enough for me on the defensive side of the ball. Atlanta came into the offseason with a lot of cap space. They was able to sign some key players at key positions, but I think you could have did a little bit more. I think you should have been really focused with the 8th overall pick. Like I said, I like Bijan Robinson. I like his talent. He reminds me a lot of Saquon Barkley. But in today's NFL, you just do not spend. You really, it's borderline, don't even spend first round picks on running backs. Now, Bijan Robinson could probably may end up being a special running back when it's all said and done. But 8th overall, you need help at all levels of your defense. It was a lot of, and this was a defense where the defensive line and the front seven was a lot of talent at those positions. Maybe could have went cornerback at 8th overall. Pair another young cornerback with AJ Terrell. I think defense would have been the way I would have went with the 8th overall pick. But hey, I'm just a guy on the microphone talking on YouTube. But anyway, if who we got? Because I forgot what my schedule is kind of looking like. Like I said, Friday we'll do a wrap up of the division. I'll make my final pick as far as who I think is coming out of this division. If you missed my Super Bowl contenders and pretenders last week, check it out. They're still up on the channel. Nobody in this division was in the conversation for Super Bowl contenders, but I think you may have a dark horse or two It's maybe a dark horse or two um, out of this division that'll be a surprise to a lot of people. Outside of Tampa Bay, the NFC South was not a division that you saw on national TV like that. The teams weren't sexy enough. It's no sexy names. Still ain't no sexy names. But you do have first round number one pick. So Carolina may get a TV national TV game, but for the most part, if you didn't watch the division, you kind of missed out on some of the intriguing storylines from last year going to this season. Like I said, Desmond Ritter on offense, what does his progression look like? And has the defense done enough in free agency to address some of the issues that they've had traditionally? Like I said, we still have the New Orleans Saints, still have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to finish up for this week. Like I said, Friday's show maybe a little bit early, may push that to about an 8 o'clock start time for that show. We'll kind of break down the NFC South. And like I said, I really want to get in. I don't want to get distracted because there's been a lot of noise from a lot of NFL running backs is talking about is it collusion? Is the NFL trying to depress the market as far as running backs are concerned? We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you for taking your time out to listen in to Little Old Me. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Every view, every comment is appreciated. I am truly humbled anytime anybody listens to the show, all that good stuff. If you know, you know. Now I'm going to leave you with the phrase that pays around here. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but every time you learn. And I'm out.